Zong is a book of poetry that is constructed on a legal decision linked to the murders of Africans on board of a slave ship at the end of the 18th century. Within this lengthy poem, the captain of the Zong slave ship directed that over 150 Africans to be drowned so that the owners of the slave ship could collect insurance money. Through the advance of fugal and counterpointed repetition, Zong becomes an anti narrative expression of grief that stretches the boundaries of poetic form, haunting spaces and forgetting and mourning the forgotten. Our thesis statement is that the faded text and growing number of layered words shows that the past can be open to interpretation and signifies the struggle with history fading as time goes on.
So, the overlaid words in Abora, the final chapter of Zong, represent the author's frustration with not telling the story that must be told. Philip is struggling to tell the story as the legal documents depict it with an objective point of view. She overlays the word murder because at the time the deliberate drowning of 150 slaves was not murder, but merely the disposition of property in a time of emergency to ensure preservation of the rest of the cargo and crew. Philip wants the reader to form his or her own interpretation, so she jumbles words on top of her opinion of murder. She also writes no provisions and finding a way out, but again she overlays jumbled words. The legal documents may claim there was not enough provisions to sustain the crew and slaves, which would warrant the slaves being forced overboard, but then saying finding a way can be seen as Philip's opinion on how the crew could have rationed provisions to save lives. The overlaid words act as an attempt to allow one's own interpretation of the event while still voicing her own opinion.
The faded words in the final chapter of the book signify the struggle in connecting with the past and display the author's disdain towards the legal text that tells the story of the Zong. This is due to legal documents being the only record of the event and the words that she uses in her poems. Ibora is the final chapter of the book, which explains why the text is faded. Over time, history fades and people forget about certain things. This is paralleled in the book, as by the final chapter, the author's words are fading away, just as the history of the Zong massacre does. It basically surfaces feelings of erasure in the reader. As stated previously, the legal documents are the only record of the event, and in turn, this tragedy was brought on in a way at the hands of the law. In turn, the faded words in the poem from the legal documents can be seen as the author trying to physically gain some sort of retribution in defacing the words of the law.